With me today on Missouri Medical Focus is Dr. Michael Cooperstock, Medical Director of Infection Control at University of Missouri Healthcare. Dr. Cooperstock, I spoke with your colleague, Dr. Gordon Christensen, back in August about Ebola and the possibility of it coming here. From what I gleaned from our conversation then, the probability of cases coming here to the United States was somewhat expected, but the idea of an outbreak here seemed very remote. The CDC says they're going to stop this in its tracks. I think when most people see the images on television and nothing seems to be stopping it in West Africa, how can they be so sure that they can stop it here?
Well, the whole thing is a very interesting process to people like me and deal with infectious diseases for a living. And what has happened is that, of course, as you know, this is a horrendous infection. Even at best, maybe 40% mortality, and at worst in these developing countries where care isn't as good, up to 70% mortality from this disease. So it is a serious disease. No one will deny that. We already know from this experience, though, quite a bit about its transmissibility. And basically what it boils down to is that it requires physical contact with the person, to literally be touching or the person or secretions or coughed material or something that's coming directly from that person. It is not an airborne disease. It is not that easily spread from one person to another.
Is that the main reason it's not airborne, like, say, for instance, influenza?
Sure. With the flu, we know very well, especially in dry weather, that the virus transmits through the air. So you and I sitting across from each other could potentially transmit it to one another, and that is simply not true of Ebola.
It would seem that, you know, of the original countries that are seeing Ebola cases, that if it was going to spread as much as people fear, that the neighboring countries would then start seeing many cases, and that's not really been the case, has it?
That's actually true. There was one case in which a person flew from Sierra Leone to Lagos, Nigeria, with the disease. And it took a few days to be recognized once he arrived there. But as the only case arriving in Lagos, which is a city of 21 million people, it was possible to follow epidemiologically what happened and how that virus transmitted from that one person. And that's a very good educational event for us to see what can happen in a country like Nigeria. And what happened was there were some secondary cases. There were 13 cases that occurred as a result of contact with this person, and then a smaller number, about 6 more cases that occurred secondarily to those individuals. And then it stopped. And the reason it stopped was even in Nigeria, they were able to assemble fairly quickly public health authorities and medical personnel to contain it using standard infection control practices. They worked very hard to investigate each case, all the contacts. There were something like 24,000 people interviewed that had even remote contact with any of these cases in order to make sure that they identified every secondary case. And then with early diagnosis, early isolation, they contained the epidemic. And if they can do it in Lagos, Nigeria, there's no reason not to expect we could do it here.
You're listening to Missouri Medical Focus on KBIA 91.3 FM, and our discussion is about Ebola. Dr. Cooperstock, what would be the protocol from a medical standpoint if a case should show up here in Columbia, say?
First importance, of course, would be recognition of the disease. That's probably the weakest spot, because individuals with Ebola virus disease are not easily distinguished from anybody else with a fever, including things like influenza, which we're about to start seeing if the season goes the way we would expect. So the person presents with a fever, achiness, perhaps respiratory symptoms, a few days later intestinal symptoms, but there's no reason that couldn't be any one of a large number of different diseases. So the key to making the diagnosis is the medical community has to recognize, and I think we do, that the history of where that person came from is everything. So if a person like that has not been arriving recently from West Africa within the last 3 weeks, you can pretty much be assured that it's not going to be Ebola virus. And if they are coming from one of those countries, we would assume that it's a Ebola virus until proven otherwise, meaning that person would be placed into isolation. So the key is making sure that the frontline caretakers in emergency rooms and clinics realize that they have to pay attention to a history of someone arriving from West Africa.
How prepared is MU Healthcare for Ebola or any other infectious diseases for that matter?
On that, I have a confident answer, and that is I think we're in good shape. We've had very active high-quality infection control program here and even at the other hospitals in Columbia as well for 4 decades. And it's improved and improved over the years as we've learned how to do that. The principles of controlling spread of Ebola virus are no different than the principles of preventing spread of any other virus. And particularly since it's not airborne, that makes it even simpler to contain than many other contagious viruses.
I guess another question I would have related to influenza and Ebola, when you look at the two diseases and their actual impact on humans, there really is a stark difference.
Certainly is. Worldwide, as of now, as of about today, some 3,000 or 4,000 people have died of Ebola virus disease worldwide. In the United States, on an average year, about 20,000 people die of influenza. So there's some perspective here. If you're concerned about Ebola affecting you, you should be by a factor of 1,000 times more concerned about preventing influenza.
What is the main message that you feel we should hear and understand concerning Ebola?
Well, I think we all should be concerned about it. This is a major disease in terms of its virulence, and we certainly would want to do everything to be able to recognize it and respond accordingly were it to have an appearance in some place like Columbia, Missouri. There's no reason to believe that it's not possible, and we certainly would like to be on top of it if it does, and we know that if we are on top of it, we should be able to contain it just fine.
I'd like to thank Dr. Cooperstock for being my guest for Missouri Medical Focus. I'm Jeff Helsher.